Queen Elizabeth has stripped her son, Prince Andrew, of all of his military titles and royal duties in the wake of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Buckingham Palace announced yesterday that Andrew can no longer use the title His Royal Highness, and the move comes after a U.S. federal judge allowed a civil sex abuse case against the royal to proceed. So Holly Williams has been following this story for us and joins us now from London. So listen, Holly, when I saw what the Queen did, to me, it seems seismic. I don't know if that's ever happened to another royal, at least not in my sort of memory. So, but I don't know exactly what that means. He wasn't really doing much anyways in the way of royal duties. So the decision to return the patronages, what sort of effect does that have on Andrew?
Well, Anne-Marie, I think that you've chosen the right word. Seismic is it. This is a huge scandal, certainly the biggest scandal in recent times to engulf the royal family. And I think that this decision on the part of the royal family, on the part of the Queen, is humiliating. It must be painful for Prince Andrew. As you said, he'd already stepped back from public duties back in 2019 after years of this Epstein scandal involving him unfolding. And after an interview with the BBC in which he tried to explain his behaviour, it was widely described as a car crash. But now he can't use that title, His Royal Highness. That's something that he was born with, and he's been stripped of all of these honorary military titles, which we assume are very important to him because, after all, he served as a helicopter pilot in the Royal Navy, and he actually saw active service. And remember, after all, this is his own family. The royal family, yes, but his own family effectively saying, you are so damaging to our brand now that we've decided we have to completely sideline you.
So then what are his options moving forward then in terms of this legal situation? It seems like he has sort of no good options at all. And of course, everything he does is going to have an impact on the royal family.
That's right. So just to remind you of the background to the lawsuit, Virginia Giuffre says that she was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to Prince Andrew for sex, and that Prince Andrew sexually assaulted her multiple times when she was a teenager, and she is now suing him in a civil lawsuit. Prince Andrew denies the allegations. He's not been charged with any crime. This is a civil case, and he actually says he has no recollection of ever having met her, although despite the fact that there's a photo that seems to show them together. At this point, he essentially has three legal options. One is to go to court to allow this case to move forward. His lawyers tried to get it dismissed, but the judge said that wasn't going to roll. So this case is moving forward. So he could go to court. But the scandal involved in that, the publicity involved in that, is everything that the royal family hates. Secondly, he could say, you know what, I'm not going to take part. I'm not going to be deposed. I'm not going to give evidence. But then he could be found in default by the judge, who could then find in Virginia Giuffre's favour and award her a lot of money in damages. Finally, and a lot of lawyers say this is what he should be doing, is he could try to settle the case before it goes any further. However, interestingly, Virginia Giuffre's lawyer said this week that he believes she is not interested in a purely financial settlement, which presumably means she doesn't just want money. She also wants to admit, for Prince Andrew to admit that he's done something wrong. And once again, that's something that he almost certainly does not want to do.
You know, one of our legal contributors, Ricky Kleeman, says there's always a magic number, but I don't know if that's the case here with Virginia Giuffre for sure. How is the public reacting and responding to all of this? And I wonder if it's different depending on which generation you've come from. I know that there is still a tremendous amount of love and affection for the Queen, but I suspect there's sort of a younger generation of Britons and royal watchers who, when they think of the royal family, they do think of scandal. They do think of broken marriages and, in some cases, reckless behavior. So I'm curious, is there a mixed response to this in Britain?
I don't think there is much of a mixed response to this. You're right, there is a big generational divide. The older you are, the more you tend to like the monarchy. But there are some things on which a lot of British people agree. There's enormous respect for the Queen, even amongst people who don't much like the monarchy. And a recent opinion poll found that only 6% of people here actually like Prince Andrew. So British people seem to be agreed on that. When you talk to them about this issue, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of disgust, and there's also a lot of sympathy for the Queen, who, after all, is 95 years old. She just lost her husband last year. This is her son, widely reported to be her favourite son, and this is happening in her Jubilee year, which is supposed to be a celebration. to give you a sense of just how humiliating all of this is for Prince Andrew, some of the British papers this morning are actually openly mocking him. So this one says thrown out, pun intended, and this one says the narcissist, formerly known as Prince. Anne-Marie?
Wow. Yeah, that second one's pretty harsh. I mean, the British headline writers are known for their cutting humor. That last one is just mean. But it definitely lets you know how people are feeling there in Britain. Holly Williams, thank you very much.
Thank you.